You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week. The redistricting battle is now shifting into high gear. We look at what that means for you. And Tracy Police have a new high-tech way to track crime. We get a look behind the scenes. Then thrifting for back to school, how both teachers and parents can save money. ABC10 Plus This Week starts now.
State-to-state extradition cases aren't that uncommon. The San Joaquin County DA tells us he actually deals with about 6 of them every single year. But with a case involving immigration and the states of Florida and California, politics is at play. Today, a top Florida state leader traveled to California to personally extradite the man at the center of it all. Flanked by law enforcement in suits and led by Florida's Lieutenant Governor Harjinder Singh's week back in Stockton ended.
He will be transported to Florida, and our responsibilities in getting justice have been served.
Justice for the 3 lives taken when Singh allegedly made an illegal U-turn while driving a semi-truck on a Florida highway. Singh allegedly flew to Sacramento 2 days before a warrant was issued for his arrest. The arrest playing out in Stockton this week, and during his first court appearance Tuesday, Singh agreed to be extradited.
And that is why I'm here today, to make sure this guy is brought to justice.
Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins placed blame on Governor Gavin Newsom. Federal records show Singh crossed the southern border illegally in 2018 and then got a commercial license in California.
3 lives ended early because of that, because of failed border policy.
Governor Newsom firing back at criticism, saying that Singh entered the U.S. under the Trump administration and that law enforcement in his state had to step in to arrest Singh. The lieutenant governor sidestepping questions on why Florida law enforcement let him flee. How was he able to escape Florida state lines in the first place after facing such a serious incident?
So, appreciate your question. So, again, what are we talking about here? It's illegal immigration issues. He fled here because of the failed policies.
While California's direct involvement in the case ended here at the airport today, the state is not in the clear quite yet. President Trump's transportation secretary has announced an investigation into the truck driver and his carrier, including California's issuance of his license. In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
We now go to ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who's been at the Capitol all day watching these votes. And Jeannie, catch us up on what happened in the State House today.
Well, Becca, both the Senate and the Assembly had hours-long floor sessions today, with redistricting being the only matter at hand. Now, discussions were heated, especially because there was a last-minute amendment made to the package. But even with the disagreements and the last-minute amendments, lawmakers still passed the redistricting package.
We are not intimidated, and we are acting openly, lawfully, with purpose and resolve to defend our state and to defend our democracy.
With a standing ovation, Speaker of the Assembly Robert Rivas's ACA 8 passed the Assembly on Thursday morning to amend the state constitution to bypass the Independent Redistricting Commission and use newly drawn maps. But its passage came with a last-minute amendment.
Does not have a trigger provision if Texas were to move forward with redistricting, that this would only go into effect if that happens.
The language initially said this would only be operative if Texas, Florida, or any other state adopts new congressional maps. The last-minute amendment now says this measure is in response to redistricting in Texas in 2025.
The legislature is entitled to propose amendments to the state constitution. And unlike Texas, we are taking it to the voters. We are acting now to save our future. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on AB604.
Over in the Senate, Republicans attempted to offer their own amendments to prevent any member who voted for this legislation to be prohibited from running for office for 10 years.
What's happening here is simple. Gavin Newsom and Democrat politicians are trying to ram through a corrupt redistricting scheme to rig California's elections. It's undermining both the letter and the spirit of the California Constitution.
It comes as legal battles are possible. On Wednesday night, the California Supreme Court denied a request from state Republican lawmakers to pause this process. Now, some Republican leaders are calling on the Department of Justice to investigate what's happened at the Capitol over the past couple of weeks. Now, an update to that trigger language. As I mentioned, it was taken out of the constitutional amendment earlier this morning, but it's now its own separate bill, which lawmakers will hear on Monday. And if passed, the bill will allow California to move forward with redistricting only if any other state adopts new maps as well. Live at the state capitol, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
Jeannie, thank you so much. Joining us now with more perspective is Rich Eisen. He's editor-in-chief of Capitol Weekly, a nonpartisan, nonprofit publication focused on politics here in California.
Yep.
Rich, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, these last few weeks, I think Newsies, Politicos, we've had our head in this redistricting conversation. But I think in coming weeks, more people will be essentially forced to hear about and consider this redistricting fight. Talk about what people will be seeing in the next 2.5 months between now and November 4th.
Well, first thing they're going to see is another bill on Monday, because the section of one of the bills that deals with the trigger aspect of all this, if Texas does this, then we're going to do this. That got pulled out of one of the bills today. It'll get heard on Monday. There will probably be a lot more pontificating, but it will get passed and it will get signed. So that'll be the first thing we see. After that, it's going to be a mad rush to define basically who's right and who's wrong here. That's going to be the thing that's going to take focal point over everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know that the recall election for Governor Gavin Newsom back in 2021 cost the state some $200 million. Some lawmakers are estimating this special election in November could cost upward of $250 million, and that's just to administer the election. Talk about this spending you anticipate seeing on the campaign itself, the vote yes, the vote no.
Well, we've already seen Charles Munger come out and say he's going to, put $30 million into it. Kevin McCarthy, former House Speaker, former California lawmaker, has said, he's going to raise $100 million. That's the opposition side. The sources I know on the pro side say they're willing to spend at least that much money. Let's just say that they do. That's already $260 million. My guess is, and it's only a guess, but my guess is this could get significantly higher than that. I would not be surprised to see it get around 275.
And in such a truncated amount of time, just 2.5 months.
Absolutely. But, messaging and turnout are both very, very expensive, and I think both sides are willing to spend.
Yeah, absolutely. Texas is the reason that Democrats here have cited this whole redistricting effort in the first place. California's plan will flip 5 House seats Democratic, they hope. In Texas, it will be Republican, 5 seats. That neutralizes it. But what if more states jump in the fray? Where does this end?
I've seen various opinions on this. Now, I used to cover legislatures all over the country, and the one thing that people have to keep in mind here is that not every state has the same system. There's about 26 redistricting commissions around the country. Other states do things differently. Obviously, Texas does, because they're able to do this with a simple vote, whereas we had to literally change the Constitution to be able to do it. So, it's really hard to say. Indiana, New York, Ohio, they've all talked about getting in. There will be other states that are, Illinois has talked about a little bit, New York. The other thing you have to look at is some of them already have. The breakdown is going to be hard for Democrats or Republicans to gain more than what they've already got. So it's way too soon to know exactly what any 1 or 2 or 3 states would mean.
Sure. And speaking of, California Democrats' goal to flip 5 seats, I was texting with a friend of mine today, and she said, what are the chances that essentially the math doesn't math, that California Democrats don't get these anticipated 5 flipped seats if voters, of course, approve the math?
Well, that would certainly be bad news for Gavin Newsom. I mean, he was asked that question today at the press conference, and he said, we're going to essentially, we will roll with what happens. I mean, you really, at this point, this is what they can control. They can get this to a vote to the people, and then they can message the living heck out of it on both sides, and then we're going to see what happens. And yes, if it doesn't work out the way they want to, it's going to have some long-term ramifications, I think, for him.
Yeah, a lot of political capital Governor Newsom is staking on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
For folks watching this, maybe distantly, maybe very closely, what's your message? Why should people be paying attention to this, and why should people be caring about this? I think you said in a political episode of your podcast, the Capitol Weekly podcast recently, that redistricting is something that usually makes people's eyes kind of droop, but it's pretty important right now.
Oh, man, yeah, for years and years and years. That was a great way to get people to tune out anything you were talking about if redistricting was part of that. But it's become like everything else. Everything we do, it feels like, has become super political. And so people are paying attention to this now. And they should have always been paying attention to this. I mean, we have a redistricting commission in California because before that we had what we jokingly called the incumbent protection plan, where, you know, one party had made a deal with the other to make them the permanent minority in exchange for some, you know, a little more power here up front. And, you know, there's a lot of that goes on around the country. One of the things that may come out of this, and I'm not optimistic, but hopeful, we're already seeing a lot of people on all sides saying this is the time to have a federal law that you know, bans this kind of thing around the country, and we have 50 independent, you know, bipartisan redistricting commissions, you know, one in every state. And I think this will push a lot of momentum that way. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but I think we're all seeing now, without that, it could be chaos.
Yeah.
And, you know, it very well could be chaos.
Yeah.
I hope not. I think you hope not.
Yeah.
But it could be chaos.
That's certainly the fear. And like you said, this could be the catalyst for change on the federal level.
If there's anything that's positive that comes out of all of this, I hope that's it.
Yeah, very good. Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Rich Eisen, editor-in-chief of Capitol Weekly. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Now to an ABC10 exclusive. Tonight, we're getting a look inside the Tracy Police Department's newest crime-fighting tool. This is their new real-time information center, now ready for action. Law enforcement and leaders from across the area gathered today for a closer look.
When I started here, we had a notepad and a pen in the patrol car. We are far beyond that now. Now we're going to be able to actually look at real-time information. We're going to be proactive instead of reactive.
You're looking at Tracy Police's newest tool to keep you safe, their real-time information center.
This is a hub of over 113 cameras. These are license plate readers and also 360-degree cameras.
This new hub aims to keep Tracy Police on the cutting edge of technology to help them process data and respond to crimes faster.
This is going to help us get the real-time information out to the officers that are out there responding to these emergencies quickly, effectively, and more safely.
In June, Representative Josh Harder secured more than $391,000 for the department to create the Real-Time Information Center. Now he's working on new legislation to bring additional resources aimed at keeping the community safe.
I think folks can be reassured that somebody is watching out for them.
Among the new tools at their fingertips, this new center will use data collected by the license plate reader technology Representative Harder secured funding for in 2022.
We lose so many police officers here in Tracy for better pay in the Bay Area, where they have to maybe drive a little bit farther, but they get paid a little bit more.
That's why Representative Harder's proposed law enforcement legislation includes bonuses to keep existing officers, money for more mental health resources for officers, and up to $10,000 in tuition for officers' graduate studies in mental health, public health, and social work. And Tracy Police tell us this center is just the start. They're looking to the future, including more staffing, more cameras, and even AI. As for that new bill, it's been introduced and is working its way through Congress. Stay with ABC 10 for updates.
What if a suicide was actually a homicide? ABC 10's latest investigation raising new questions about deaths ruled suicides and whether critical evidence is being missed, letting killers walk free. In episode 1, we introduced Joanna's case. Investigative reporter Andy Judson takes us deeper with episode 2. Andy.
Yeah, that's right, Jay. In episode 2 of Hidden Homicides, Fighting for Answers, our 6-part investigative series, we examine the final hours of Joanna's life, who saw her last, and why experts say the unanswered questions and gaps in the investigation process could point to something much more sinister. A critical part of the evidence experts highlight is the inconsistencies in her husband's timeline, including claims he spent over 5 hours playing basketball the day Joanna died. Does his timeline hold up? Did investigators overlook key forensic evidence that could reveal a far darker truth? Experts have serious concerns.
He didn't cut her down. He didn't try CPR, and he had a cell phone. He didn't call 911. That's troubling.
They missed the evidence. This is clearly an inept investigation.
Our investigation will bring to light new interviews, new possible evidence, and a closer look at Joanna's final moments through the eyes of those still fighting for answers for her. Now, don't miss our 6-part investigation with exclusive access to Joanna's case. We reveal potential new evidence and documents never before made public until now. Watch the full investigation, Hidden Homicides Fighting for Answers, right now on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, there's a new temporary tax deduction for seniors. It's being called a senior bonus. But do you qualify, and how much could you get? A Sacramento-based financial advisor I talked with breaks down the facts and explains what you need to know.
A lot of viewers have been asking about this senior bonus. What does it mean and why does it matter?
I think the way President Trump positioned this was there's no tax on Social Security. And that's not exactly true.
So here's what you need to know. Signed into law last month, President Trump's big beautiful bill includes a senior bonus, meaning a new temporary standard tax deduction for certain people 65 and over.
So it empowers seniors to have a little bit more money, hopefully put back into their pocket.
The maximum deduction is $6,000, but the size of your deduction depends on your income. To qualify, you must be at least 65 by the end of the tax year and have a modified adjusted gross income of less than $175,000. But the deduction gradually reduces to potentially zero. If your income is more than $75,000 or $150,000 for joint filers, the deduction will phase out at a 6% rate. The deduction is fully phased out at $175,000 for single filers and $250,000 for joint filers.
Why is there a tension for folks in retirement, people over 65, our seniors? Why is there a focus on them being able to keep more of their take-home pay?
To have the opportunity to save and invest more money by having more money put back into your pocket, especially as a senior, gives them the opportunity to not outlive, hopefully, the nest egg that they have, to have the ability to take more advantage of the Social Security income that's coming in.
Keep in mind, overall, seniors will still need to pay taxes, and the big beautiful bill does not eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. Remember, this senior bonus is temporary. It's expected to last for the tax years 2025 to 2028. In the next few weeks, we're taking a deep dive into more tax benefits you could see thanks to the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Next, we'll explore the increased child tax credit. Remember, your money questions have answers. Email me at lpainter@abc10.com and stream all of my Dollars and Cents stories right now on the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. A shocking video is circulating right now from Lincoln High School showing a student slap a teacher during a freshman meeting inside the gym. The confrontation doesn't stop there.
As ABC10's Paul Sanga explains, it has parents, students, and the community shocked by what happened.
The Lincoln High Fighting Zebras are known for their spirit and pride. But this fight in the gym, seen in a video on Instagram now going viral, has the school making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The video shows a student suddenly hitting a school staff member. Seconds later, the student is escorted out and then shoves that staff member, escalating the confrontation. Then a school resource officer eventually takes the student to the ground.
What's this kid thinking?
See how calm the teacher is. He's anxious. He's the one that's being aggressive.
The video is sparking outrage and concern. We showed it to the community, who were shocked and surprised.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. You can't act like that around people, especially in school.
This former Lincoln student says he was shocked when he recognized the staff involved.
I knew the teacher that was involved in it, so it was devastating to see that video. It was sad.
In a statement, the Western Placer Unified School District tells ABC10 the situation was quickly de-escalated. Student and staff safety remained their top priority, calling the behavior unacceptable and not a reflection of Lincoln's values. The school district also says the student involved will face disciplinary action and that this matter is also being addressed by law enforcement.
Been spiking a lot recently. Just a thing we should watch out for. Teacher-kid discipline, you got to teach your kid respect.
I applaud the teachers and I applaud the police officer. And my heart goes out to him and the family. And the family as well.
Reporting from Lincoln, Paul Sanga, ABC10.
Now, the school district says the rest of the day went as planned. We did reach out to the Lincoln Police Department, but we have not heard back. As students head back to school at Sacramento State, we're talking to a Sac State grad who's now a standout on Netflix. Take a look.
Oh, yes, sir. Rancho Cordova, and then I've worked my way to North Highlands and all over the place.
We're catching up with Xavier Smalls to talk about his journey from a theater major at Sac State to a Netflix standout with his own stunt double.
Yeah, I've had an interesting journey, to say the least. I actually started at Sacramento State being a biology major, and I quickly found out that I am horrible at science, like the worst. And I was actually considering dropping out until my mom was like, just graduate from me, you can do it. Just change your major.
He did just that, graduating with his bachelor's degree in theater in 2020. But like so many others, he didn't get to walk because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which also caused a delay in him going to study in New York.
Here I am with a theater degree, in the arts, and I have nothing to show for it because I'm supposed to go to New York, and everyone else is like, starting their career. They're going to nursing school. They're, selling homes.
He credits his faith and local mentors for helping him stay encouraged.
It's a blessing, man. I have to give all the praise to God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he held on to me, like in my times of doubt.
Even after finishing school in New York with the William Esper Studio, he came back to Sacramento with uncertainty.
I was crying to myself, like, dang, I feel like a failure. I have nothing to show for myself. I have no money. And then, like, maybe 6 weeks after I remember having that little mini mental breakdown is when I got the call that I got Medea, because I still have my New York agent.
Yes, Tyler Perry's Medea came calling. He did so well here on the set of Medea's Destination Wedding that he got offered another opportunity.
I would say maybe 3 months after we finished shooting Medea, I get a text saying, hey, great job on Medea. Call me when you can, Tyler Perry. And I was like,
And so, as students start a new semester, Xavier has these words of encouragement.
Have enough guts and courage to look like a fool in front of other people. Like, for example, me, this light-skinned dude from Rancho, he was over here doing Shakespeare. He has these Shakespeare tights on stage with a sword. Like, who does he think he is? You know what I mean? But if I would have never did those things, if I was afraid of looking like a fool or afraid of failing, then I wouldn't be here.
And don't forget, you can catch him as Angel in the new season of Beauty in Black on Netflix coming up on September 11th.
Classrooms are colorful, creative, and sometimes costly. But thrifting expert Dina Eunice says you don't need to spend a fortune to make your learning space shine.
Top 5 things: classroom organizational things. So bins, baskets, anything that you need to organize storage-wise. Definitely check the thrift store first.
Beyond bins and baskets, teachers can find tons of useful treasures for pennies on the dollar, from decor to desk accessories.
Signage, posters, desk accessories, any type of decor that you're looking for. Definitely check the thrift store first.
And don't forget the fun stuff. Games and puzzles aren't just toys. For teachers, they're tools, too, like Dina's friend who teaches sign language.
She would buy all sorts of types of games, and then she would cater it to that specific topic, like flashcards, or she would have them sign the words.
Books are also a big win. Whether it's for classroom libraries or take-home readers, you'll likely find popular titles at the thrift store for a fraction of the price.
You could create a little library, or you can buy books to send home with the kids, whatever it is, and look for sales and deals.
Dina says it's all about having a plan.
Create your core list, right? Like, I need books, I need bins, I need some decor. Walk around, and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I needed this.
And elementary school teachers, don't forget about that prize box for the students.
Just kind of fill your treasure box throughout the year. And it's like an ongoing thing too, right? Like you're not going to find everything, the week before school starts.
Dina says take your time, check multiple stores, and keep an open mind, because one person's donation could be a teacher's treasure.
If you don't like the weather in Oregon, wait 10 minutes. That's a common phrase Oregonians like to tell visitors. It is a wet one out here. The weather did not change when I visited Hot Lake Springs Resort in La Grande, Oregon. I actually had to wait the next day to get these drone shots. The good news is, a hot springs is the perfect place to hang out in less than favorable weather.
You don't think about breathing that fresh air when it's pouring down rain or it's windy or it's cold. Hot springs give you that.
Mike Rezevi's the owner of Hot Lake Springs Resort, and since I forgot my swimsuit, he took me on a little tour.
Hot Lake Springs is one of the largest and certainly the hottest hot springs in the Northwest.
Mike says the geothermal water comes out of the ground at 180 degrees. The steam coming off the water is like a natural advertisement for drivers along Interstate 84, but to soak in the water, it must be cooled down and then put into these separate tubs so people can enjoy the mineral-rich and fragrant water.
What is that smell that I'm smelling out here?
We've got a sulfur smell here. It's hydrogen sulfide. I mean, we're made from the earth. We're supposed to be bringing this in. It's great stuff.
The Nez Perce called it Ikeshapa. Oregon Trail travelers called it a miracle pit stop. And in its heyday, the famous Brick Hotel was known as the Mayo Clinic of the West.
I think that some of the taglines have been like, limp in, skip out.
Hot Lake was first established in 1884, but it was Dr. Fye in 1906 who turned it into a health spa with 100 guest rooms, a dance hall, and a promise that the mineral water could fix just about anything.
There was a bank, there was a post office, there was tailors. It was called the city under one roof. So there was most likely more amenities here at Hot Lake than there was anywhere else in the whole county.
Back in the early 1900s, you didn't just drop in for a quick soak. Guests took the waters, meaning they soaked in the geothermal mineral baths and drank up to a gallon a day to reap the full benefits of the volcanically heated water.
We don't know all the benefits of soaking or the hot springs, but we do believe that there's some real positive benefits to mental health and physical health.
In 1934, a devastating fire wiped out many of the wood structures. New owners tried to save Hot Lake, but eventually it fell into disarray, and by the 1990s, it was basically a ghost town. As the building decayed, rumors of paranormal activity started to spread, so much so that the TV show Scariest Places on Earth investigated.
I think they should burn Hot Lake to the ground and cover its ashes with salt.
Michael says, in the many years he's owned the place, he's only had one experience.
Saw something move all the way at the other end of the hall. It was my reflection as I walked by.
In 2003, Hot Lake was saved when bronze statue artist David Manuel purchased the property and spent millions rebuilding and preserving the remaining buildings. Today, the Rezevi's own Hot Lake Springs Resort, and they've renovated the rooms, reopened the soaking pools, and added a bar, which Michael admits would probably make the place's prohibitionist founders roll over in their grave.
We've got a chapel that we're going to turn into the confessional pub, and a speakeasy that'll have a secret entrance, and so on and so forth.
Well, if you don't like the weather in Oregon, you can wait 10 minutes, or just jump into the mineral-rich waters at Hot Lake Springs Resort.
From the very wet and moist Hot Lake Springs Resort, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus this week. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.